Let's check out Good Morning Football. I like this show. I don't know why I haven't done any clips of it yet. So
second down of 3 and out. We've watched this script before. This is the second playoff meeting between these two teams. I referenced it before in 1991. John Elway, Jim Kelly. These two teams, Peter, are the only two teams to have beat the Chiefs this season. So what do you make of Bills Broncos in Buffalo?
Yeah, look, they played last year in a Monday night game that nobody thought the Broncos had a chance, and the Russell Wilson-led Broncos came in and beat the Buffalo Bills under the lights in Buffalo in a huge game for the Bills at the time because they were still in this one seed. Are we going to be able to get this? Or what's going on with our team? We're having this moment. And it was week 10 of 2023, and Sean Payton got his guys, who are an undermanned team that probably didn't belong on the same field as the Bills, and got them to win. That pass at the end of the half, Cortland Sutton, amazing catch. And then at the final drive, Russ led them the entire way down the field, and the Broncos, well, I don't think they're scared of going into Buffalo. I also think the fact that this game is at 1 o'clock Eastern and not 4 o'clock and not 9 o'clock, it actually helps the Broncos. And you're saying, well, they're a West Coast team coming. You don't have that full day of buildup. You don't have that full day of the Bills fans drinking in the parking lot. You don't have that full day of thinking about this. And you also don't get the same weather advantage you might get in cold, snowy Buffalo in your city. I think the Broncos are going to come to fight. And I'm not bold enough to pick Denver, but I don't think this is a walkover, and I do not think this is a blowout. And I think the fact that they beat them last year on Monday night with a worse team is going to be a heavy, heavy motivational ploy for Peyton throughout the week.
I just wanted to chime in for a second. It's Friday night, Saturday morning, whatever you want. It's like 1:30 in the morning that I'm recording this Friday night, Saturday morning. Bills fans are already in the parking lot. That's the reality. For those of you who don't live here, the RV lot opens 72 hours before kickoff. There's Bills fans in the parking lot. They camp out for a couple of days, some of these fans. And I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating. The RV lot, 72 hours ahead of time. There's fans in the parking lot. 1 o'clock game, Bills fans aren't drinking all. That's very wrong. So 1 o'clock game means stadium lots open at 9 o'clock in the morning. A lot of the other lots are going to open at 7 or 8. They're there at 7 or 8 in the morning and they're drinking. All right. Just because the game's at 1 o'clock doesn't mean the fans aren't going to be there drinking all day. You just move the time back of when you start drinking. You start drinking earlier. When I go to a Bills game that's a 1 o'clock game, I'm at the stadium. I leave my house at 7:30 in the morning, and I'm at the stadium by 8:30. Well, I'm parking my car by 8:30, walking to the tailgate. I'm at the tailgate at 9 o'clock. That's the reality. That's how it is in Buffalo. You go, it doesn't matter if it's a 1 o'clock game. You can only go to the stadium as a general population, not an RV parker, but a general parker, like you're parking your car in the general lots 4 hours ahead of time. And trust me, they're there. The RV people are there now. The regular fans will be there at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. They'll be there. They're drinking all day. Especially the playoffs. I'll continue.
Week and on Sunday morning.
It's interesting, Peter. Listen. I think the most interesting person in this game, not player, is Sean Payton by far, because I don't think the Broncos have a better team than the Bills. I don't know how many positions even they're better at than the Bills are. The Bills are really good. They may have a better coach than the Bills, and that's not shade to Sean McDermott. Sean Payton is an all-timer. If Sean Payton were to pull off this shock, this is a top 3 win for him in his career. I know he's won the Super Bowl. He's won title game. I think of it, sometimes these underdog early round things get remembered so much, and the upsets. I think of George Karl and the Denver Nuggets beating the Supersonics, and it was like, George Karl's done some great things in his career. A first early round series.
He was the coach of the Sonics and got upset
Who was the
by
coach
the
of the Nuggets?
I think it was Doug Moe was the coach of that.
Doug
Nuggets
Moe.
team.
Doug Moe, whoever you are. I'm so glad you corrected me, Peter. I was thinking about the Nuggets. I was thinking about Dikembe, like Brown and everything like that. This has the feeling of that. If Peyton were to do this, like whenever Sean Payton retires, we'll be like onside kick in the Super Bowl, all the time, great times with Drew Brees in the Dome. And then remember he went up to Buffalo and beat the Josh Allen Bills in the wild card round? Unbelievable thing would happen. Peter's kind of dancing around saying, I can't pick Denver in this game. I'll just do it right now. I think Buffalo's going to win this game. I think Buffalo's going to win this game comfortably. Buffalo's great. And I said it again. Like
Got the Tom Ford glasses, pumping his fist.
Yeah, they have a great coach. They have had a great season. If they lose this game, even 31-10, everybody flying out of Buffalo in Denver is going to say, great job this year.
And they're the hot pick next year.
Yeah, like we got great places to go. We have a very bright future. There's no shame at all. That's a dangerous thing. It's hard to win in an upset when really everything's already been checked for you. You've had a great year. There's no shade. They have not beaten a real playoff team this season. The Chiefs last week, but in 3 months. They beat Tampa it felt like a year ago. So great year, great season. They're going up against a great team that is in the playoffs every year. I think Buffalo wins comfortably. The only way it gets crazy is if Sean Payton just pulls something out of his backside.
Well, the one weakness, though, Kyle, is that defense, and especially I'm talking about the secondary group. I talked earlier about, Cortland Sutton and his ability maybe to go off in this game and have a really big game, but Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, taking advantage of that defense. They're giving up like 30-something points. When you look at that, you look at the 24th ranked when it comes to pass defense. That's an opportunity for Sean Payton to out-scheme. And we've seen Sean Payton in his earlier days do that. And we saw last year his ability to do the same thing. There is a great possibility, but I am not bold enough because I know and I truly believe, I've been talking about Bills Mafia. I think Josh Allen goes out here and he just outplays the Denver Broncos. They don't put up enough point to actually win this game, but there is that one chance.
So the question was, does last year's game have an impact on this year's game? Mm-hmm. You best believe it has an impact on this year's game. The familiarity with the team, with the Broncos going into that stadium. The last time that the Bills played that team in that stadium, they lost. As a competitor, we all played sports. We all played teams that there are certain place that we went to that we just could not beat that team, or we did not beat that team. When I was at Notre Dame, I'm 2-0 in the Coliseum against USC. I'm 0-2 at home. There's something about playing certain teams in certain spaces when you haven't broke that narrative that it's a mental block that you got to kind of fight over. And the fact that it is a mental block just shows you the type of impact that it has. So does it have an impact on this game? Will it show itself in the form of a score? I don't know. I know Sean Payton. I know the lengths that he's going to go to prepare his team. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be surprised that Sean Payton does things in the game that you look at like, man, he's rolling, he's throwing all the cards out. He's going all in with his chips. So there's something that we're going to be locked into, but you best believe that has impact on this game.
We can't wait for Wildcard Weekend. All 6 games will be one to watch. All these teams.
Okay. So they're all basically saying, yeah, it could happen, but it's not going to happen. And I tend to agree with them. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Josh Allen is going to be too much for the Denver Broncos to handle. Now, I want to talk about last year's game, though, because everyone's talking about it. They're bringing it up. Let me bring up last year's game on Monday Night Football. If you guys remember, the Bills were they had an off year last year, and they were losing games that they should have won. They lost a game at New England. Mac Jones went down the field and beat the Bills on a last-second touchdown drive, and then they lost to Denver at Monday night on a fluke field goal where Denver missed the field goal, but Buffalo had 12 men on the field. Denver got to re-kick on an untimed down and win the game. Remember that? That's what it took to beat the Bills. So it's not like they went into Buffalo and cleaned their clocks. They barely got out a win while Buffalo was reeling. Buffalo was reeling last season. And if you notice, Buffalo really hasn't been in a slump this season at all. they've lost some games. One of them, the Baltimore game, was ugly. The Houston game was close. There was Josh Allen's statistically worst game of his career. That Rams game was, neither team was they weren't able to stop him on defense because the Bills, the secondary had some injuries. The secondary will be healthy. If you look at the Bills injury report, they have one guy listed as questionable. It's their returner. I don't think the Bills are going to have to worry this week about on their defense. They're playing at home. The defense plays a lot better at home than they do on the road. Yeah, they're not like top 10 defense at home either. But they play a lot better at home than they do on the road. It's a rookie quarterback going into Buffalo, going on the road, playing a playoff game. Rookie quarterbacks don't win road playoff games. It's not going to happen. I think the Bills win. I know I've made a couple videos on this before. A couple people have commented they think Denver's going to win. I just don't see it happening. Don't see it happening. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.